Shalom. Welcome back, YouTube. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to title this video yet. This is a touchy subject for me, all right? But to boil it down, today we're going to talk about relationships in VRChat, right? And more so, my personal experience and things that I have seen when it comes to real relationships, IRL relationships that come into VRChat, okay? I would like to also talk about relationships that, start in VR. I've seen some cool things with people like starting in VRChat and developing, starting here, right? And then they kind of grow out like into IRL. I don't want to say grow up because I don't think it's the right word. But they start here like a little egg and then it blossoms into something real and beautiful, right? I've also seen and experienced a relationship that was something beautiful, right, in real life, come to VRChat and absolutely fucking explode. Okay. So right off the bat, I'm gonna say this. As a broad warning to anyone looking to start this game, okay? If you have a wife or if you're a woman and you have a husband, be extraordinarily careful. I received this advice from Looney here. I received it from other friends that I've met on my time on VRChat. And when I first started playing this game, right, it was just on a whim, right? I have a job that requires me to travel a lot. And when the snow season kicks in and travel is really bad, sometimes I don't go to work as much, right? So my then wifey at the time and myself, both were sitting a lot during this time. And this was just this year, actually, 2025. I know we're at the tail end of it, but 2025, January of this year, we were sitting a lot, okay? Which meant that I was bored. Nothing to fucking do. I mean, you can't go outside. We're in the middle of fucking bumfuck nowhere in the Midwest, meaning snow is everywhere, right? And a lot of it, meaning you can't do anything. So I started looking at VRChat, just through proximity chat videos, rat grave videos. I think I started out watching voice trolling. I thought it was hilarious. And I was like, that game looks like fun, right? Um, I made a clerical error and showed it to my wife. And I was like, we should do this. This is going to be great. I was wrong. And I didn't heed the advice that Looney and others gave me. No relationship, no matter how strong you think it is ready for something like this. And the best way I can describe this to you, like if I were to boil it down without fucking boring you guys with my life story, right? If I were to boil it down into something that anyone can understand, think of it as like if you were in college. I'm sure a lot of you folks have probably been through college, right? Dating and college is a meme most of the time. Unless it's like a private school, then maybe it's different. But dating at a big university is a fucking meme. Okay? 90% of relationships absolutely fail, right? And the ones that do make it through are few and far between. The vast majority, there's cheating, there's drama, there's fucking infighting, friend groups that don't mix, and it's just a fucking travesty. So that dorm life, if you've been to college, that dorm life, that partying, imagine that is VRChat, and VRChat's effect on relationships is exactly that, but remove the college aspect. There's no studying here. It's just the party. And it's easier to sneak off and do something stupid. Right? It's the internet, so yeah, things can be recorded, but most of the time it's not. Meaning that people, especially if it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, if you start out and you have a real relationship, even if you feel your foundation is solid, when you come into this type of environment, it's just like taking your wife that you love dearly or your husband that you think is great and bringing them into an environment where it's extraordinarily sexualized, access is very easy, and everyone's a gooner and drunk as shit, right? That is like Girls Week in Miami times 10 every single night with like no upfront cost, no nothing. You just do it, right? They don't have to get in a car and sneak around. They just get on. You don't know what the fuck they're doing. Or maybe you're on too. Maybe you're doing something different. And it cuts both ways. It's men and women, right? Another way to think of it too, right? So in college, a lot of people are very attractive. And even the most attractive people in colleges don't hold a fucking candlestick to the stuff you see in here. So if you're not ready, you're not mentally prepared for how do I put this? Hmm. If you're not mentally prepared to have an absolute dime piece, someone so utterly attractive that like they physically could not exist, like something like this doesn't really exist. You see it on Instagram, but it doesn't really exist, right? Sitting in your lap, grinding on you and telling you that like it's go time and you got a wife. Are you ready to say no to that? I mean, it's just pixels. Who's it gonna hurt? You're not doing any harm. But I tell you what, it's gonna hurt her. If your wife was going off to a bunch of VR dance parties, strip clubs, and getting called up on stage and grinded on by some 7'8" e-boy with a fucking 10-inch dick, yeah, it's just pixels. But you're watching your girl do that. You're watching her get grinded on. There's still another man behind that computer. You know what I mean? So even though it is just a game, it's not really. It's more like a dating app or a MySpace, but real, right? It's the Oasis. It's what you saw in fucking Ready Player One brought to life with way too much angst. So again, no matter how good you think your foundation is, you two need to sit down and have a real conversation before you get in VRChat. Boys, I know a lot of women, ladies are getting into this game without their men because, you know, a lot of guys not too into the social shit, right? Guys, men, if your girl's looking to get into this game, have a conversation with her. I'm telling you. I'm sure plenty of you have heard Kevin Samuels and Andrew Tate and single women keep women single. That shit is true to the nth degree on a fucking on a site or platform, if you want to call it that, like VRChat. The amount of dopamine that can be like someone can have in an environment like this where everything feels so real. There's like fucking blue lights 2 inches from your eye sockets beaming pixels of giant dick, abs, and tits straight into your brain while you're drunk. The level of immersion, it makes it so real. And people are far more liable to do something stupid, especially if they're already comfortable, they're in the comfort of their own home. No one's going to know. And it's just pixels. You have plausible deniability. As someone who was in an 11-year-long relationship and thought things were extraordinarily solid, I fucking promise you, no matter how good you think you got it, have that conversation and be abundantly clear, both whether you're the girl or the guy in the relationship, be abundantly clear where your boundaries are. It might sound funny to someone that hasn't played VRChat before, but I'm telling you, it won't be funny at the end of it, if you know what I'm saying. This shit was just a game to me, right? This was just fun. I get drunk with some random fucking furry on the weekend telling me about how great Norway is or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Arguing in the Great Pug with a Mexican about politics because it's fun. It's just entertaining. This is a form of escapism. It's like Twitter but live and in real life, and no one knows who you are still. And then take that and add attraction and add angst and add dancing and add fucking sexual charged energy and everyone's hot. Dumb shit happens. Add in alcohol. You might think it doesn't matter. I thought it wouldn't matter. But I am fucking telling you, unless you're a cuck, this game is not meant for dating. At least if you're not in a real life, like if assuming you're in a real life relationship and you're trying to bring it over here, don't do it. If you're going to, be cautious. That is my only word of warning. Now, I'm not the only person that's been through this. I've read ample Reddit stories, right? I've listened, because I went through it hard, right? Like 2 months in, I had laid the boundary. I was telling everyone, you know, we're solid. And I had so many people complimenting us. Like, it's so cool to see a couple. You never see a couple that came from real life into this game. There's a reason for that, because they don't last long. I laid my boundaries, and within 2 months, I was working on another computer for her. She came upstairs and said, "Hey, it's just pixels, right? It's just pixels." And she kept repeating that. And I looked up at her and I was like, what the fuck did you do? She's like, well, does it really matter? And from that point on, she's become an alcoholic. I barely know her anymore. I don't spend time with her. She's gone. She's like no longer a factor in my life. Just be careful. That's all I can say. 11 years down the drain for me. Be careful. Now that brings me to my other point. On the flip side, relationships that start in VRChat, like I mentioned earlier, they can be absolutely fucking beautiful.
They can also be awful.
Yeah, I was about to say, this girl here has been fucking through it. She's been through some shit, and I'm not going to pretend to like explain her stories and what she's seen. She's been on here way longer than I have. So she can probably much better explain what relationships are like in VRChat, that start in VRChat, that go to real life, all the things. What I can tell you, though, is people that have been through VRChat already, and like, let's say you find a trusted user, they've been in this shit, and they know who they are in VR by that point in time, right? Don't go into a date or a relationship in this game with the anticipation of bringing it to real life. Just don't do it. Right? Your Discord kitten is not going to come to you 90% of the time. But that said, I would argue that the dating circle in VRChat, at least among the older ones that I've met, seems to be far more mature than even in real life. Again, the people that make it through the whole VRChat alcoholism phase and come out the other side and they still want a partner, they are seasoned enough to know how to say no. They've stopped drinking so much. They've become more of an adult. I find them more mature than most women my age that I know IRL. She's a great example of that. She's fucking fantastic. Not to gas her up too much, but it's true. She's been through it. She knows it all. I'm going to defer to her for just to see what else she has to say on the whole relationship starting in VRChat, because I don't know. I don't have much to add there. Again, I'll leave it on this. Last thing I'll say once again, if you are in a real relationship, be fucking careful coming to this site. It is not what you think it is. It is a college dorm on fucking steroids. Everyone's got double Ds. Everyone's got the 10-inch dick. Everyone's 7 foot tall. All right? You cannot compete. And she will absolutely compare you. Right? Ladies, same way. A lot of dudes can't control themselves. All right, Looney, anything you'd have to add or want to add?
I would 100% agree with you. I've seen multiple relationships start in the game and be brought into it, and 90% of them fall apart. I've been in multiple relationships that started on here. Been in two particular that one I moved across the country for, and then had them come to the other side of the country with me, and they were a complete different person than they were here. It's, people act differently online. There's a lot more pressure on here. You don't see people's flaws. All you get is their personality. All you get is, that personality is fake half the time.
Yeah, it's kind of like
because they just want. They just want the attention. But... Yeah, they want the attention, the validation. They want. They're just going to say whatever they can to essentially, like gaslight you, or hype you up to be like, oh my god, this person is, the best thing in my life. And unfortunately, like the one that I had that I moved across the country for was a complete fucking disaster. They were amazing on here. I had a great time with them. Never argued, never fought. Went to meet them in person. Absolute nightmare. If I would have went into the relationship knowing it would have been like that, absolutely fucking not. I would not have done that shit.
You brought up a good point too. Like the whole the anonymity of it all, right? It's a double-edged sword. Because on one side, you get to know people past their looks. People are very vain these days. It's all Tinder. It's window shopping, right? So you skip that and come into VRChat because everyone, like 90% of people, are either hot anime chicks or giant e-boys. I don't hang out with the furries. No offense. That's another story for another day. No, you can't. You can't have my booty, Tom. Anyway, fucking Christ. But yeah, like it's a double-edged sword. You get to know people for who they are, but people only show you what they want you to see, right? So you get past the
Exactly.
vanity of it all, and that can be enticing, especially if you have social anxiety or you're self-conscious of the way you look. But you never get to know someone behind a screen. And even though this
No.
is such a personal experience, people will say whatever the fuck they want to say. It's just like Tinder. I've had friends brag to me about how they lie to girls and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm Catholic too." Go and fuck her, then block her the next day. It's the same shit. So be careful with that too. Good point.
Yeah. I mean, even for example, like you could spend 18 hours of a day on here with somebody for 5 or 6 months, think you know them basically perfectly, and meet them in real life, which is very dangerous to do. So please don't do that. And they are nothing like they were on here. They could say they do X, Y, and Z. They work, they clean, etc., etc. And it's all just fake shit to get you there because they're essentially such a meh person in real life that they drag you in and try to hold you down essentially because you've known them for so long that you kind of have a connection that doesn't exist in real life. It's only on here. It's also the same for like he said, with couples that are coming in here, with the alcoholism, then the smoking, and God knows what else. The peer pressure to cheat, to just the mingling alone. Unless it's a very, very, very small group that both of you know very well, and essentially you keep monitoring each other to where you're not doing something fucking stupid. Going into Publix, I'm
gonna interject real
especially
quick.
If go ahead.
That's a good point. It reminded me. It's the whole Miami trip again, right? The fact that the advice here is monitor each other is true, but it's also sad, right? Should you subject a solid relationship to a Miami trip? Ask yourself that. Would you subject your marriage to both of you going and staying at separate dorms?
No, absolutely
that's the
not.
way I would look at it, because that's essentially what it is here.
Yeah, because it's very easy to make private instances. It's very easy. The online status, you can hide where you're at, who you're with. You can even go on like do not interrupt mode, to where, say, I sent him an invite. If he's on do not disturb, he doesn't even see it. I mean, that's essentially just like he said, going into a different dorm and locking the door.
Yeah.
And the amount of people on here that you will drink with, if you drink, makes you do stupid things, and there's an absurd amount of peer pressure.
Oh yeah, alcoholism and VRChat will definitely be another video. That's a whole nother topic too. Like to add to the fact that so when you're drunk, when you get really dizzy, right? I'm just gonna throw this in here so you understand how crazy things get in here. At a bar, you know you're drunk, right? Because you have depth perception. So in VR, it's not real depth perception, right? The light that's hitting your eyes, no matter what, in VR, is only 2 inches from your eyeballs at most, right? In real life, your eyes can gauge depth even just with light itself, right? And the way that it hits. In VR, it's not like that, which means that anyone who's played VRChat and drank in here will know exactly what I'm talking about. You don't know how drunk you're getting. So you don't recognize how poor your decisions are getting. And then you'll go to take the headset off and you're fucking plastered. But it's too late. You already did some stupid shit. Yeah. You won't even notice how drunk you got. You'll know you're getting drunk, but you won't notice how fucking blackout drunk you are. Because again, that feeling of dizziness, the loss in vision and like things going weird, right? That doesn't happen in VR. You just get drunk until you take the headset off. Not to interrupt you, but
You're fine.
yeah, I mean, fuck, maybe one day I'll talk about my whole relationship experience. I feel like that would be a fucking tell-all, but if people are interested enough to hear it, I would, right? Because that's a long one. And for the record, I do hope maybe she comes back to me one day, right? Not her as she is. Not a fan of that person anymore. But the person she was before I introduced her to this, and I don't even mean to sound like a simp, but fuck is that sad. 11 years in. Fuck. That's all I can say. Be careful. Anything else?
Only thing I can think is basically if you're already on the game and you're thinking about getting in a relationship with somebody that's in one or that's on here with you that you've known for a little bit, really think about it. Don't jump into it, especially if both of you are drinking quite often together. Sit and actually talk about it. Don't just, I like this person, just go, and the people that are in the people that are in relationships that are playing on here, try to, if you're adamant on playing, try to stay together. Don't go off separate areas. Don't go to different worlds together. Try to always think of it as real life. You're not going to go to a bar with your wife or husband and just be like, okay, go do your own thing. I'll go do my own thing. Because you're going to get hit on. They're going to get hit on. You're both drinking. Your mind's not going to think, oh, I'm in a relationship. It's, oh, this person's really hot in front of me. I'm going to fuck them.
Yeah, and it's a slippery slope because at first you'd be like, I would never do that, and then the peer pressure and the convincing and the alcohol, right? Most importantly, the alcohol shutting down that prefrontal cortex. Eventually, you just stop saying no.
Yeah,
I've seen it over and over again. I actually saved one of my friends from going through exactly what I went through. I watched his girl get on this game, right, and she was on it she was literally every single day when she first got into it. And she started hanging out with this guy. And then she started talking to him on Discord. And I was like, this is the exact path I saw. And I called his ass. And I was like, bro, go and talk to your bitch. All right. And I don't mean that in a derogatory term. That's just how I talk with my homie. Right. Go and talk to her now. And this is what you're going to say. And I told him exactly what to say to her. And to my fucking shock, he actually did it. He listened. And I think it's because he saw what I went through too. And she stopped. She stopped cold turkey. She felt so bad. And yeah, but I'm just saying this stuff is not a just me thing. It's this happens every night. Someone out there right now in this fucking game is going through exactly what I went through, right? Is going through the exact things that she went through. This game is not. It's not a game.
It's a lot more personal.
Yes,
it is a whole lot more personal.
It's a social platform where again everyone's hot, right? Everyone's whatever the fuck they want to be. And everyone, it's the alcohol and the sexual fucking angst. It's rampant. Okay, she said it best. If you are in a relationship and you come into this game together, treat it like real life. Would you let your girl go on the Miami trip? Would you be okay with that? If the answer to that is no, and it would make you so uncomfortable as to put stress in your relationship, which to me is a no, right? Then probably don't go off on your own. Hang out together. Treat it like an escapism together, right? Don't think that you're different. Don't think she's different. Don't think y'all's relationship is different. 99% of the time it's not. And no, you're not in that 0.1%. You're not. I'm sorry. That 1% is reserved, I think, for a lot of people that meet on here. That rare couple that find themselves on this app after going through the bullshit, right? Just like in college. Just like the seniors that start to settle down. Same way. You agree?
I would 100% agree. If you're a couple and you're getting on here and you're using it as an escape, don't go to Publix. Don't meet random ass people. Treat it as a vacation, essentially. Go explore worlds together. Go play games together. Stuff like that. Don't go to Publix.
Agreed.
That would be my best advice.
If you do, treat it as a joke. Getting some fucking meme avatars, right? Getting a funny little something avatar. Don't take it serious. Don't go get in the hot avy and go hang out at a bar in VRChat, okay? Like, especially solo. Like, do something stupid. That's the shit I was doing. I said that in the podcast. I was like, I went and sat on the bar as a cat. So, like, no, I wasn't getting up to anything too stupid. I did get drunk a lot, but I was a mute cat or mute little fluffy woodland creature of some kind, not talking, just listening, enjoying my time, enjoying myself. She ran off and joined the clubs, and that was my fucking mistake, right? I trusted her. I was like, you know what? I don't really care that much. You know my boundaries. I trust you because I trust you in your life. Again, the internet and alcohol and peer pressure are powerful, powerful forces. Never underestimate them. And never underestimate the human willingness to give in.
Yeah, especially after you're dealing with it night after night after night for multiple hours for multiple different people. It no matter how strong you think your willpower is to either ignore it or say no, the constant battering over time will get to you to where you just cave in and say yes.
I think another way to look at it too is like you are who you hang out with. So if you're spending too much time in here, eventually these are the people that like they're your people. So this culture you will adopt. The voyeurism, the promiscuity will become you, right? Just be again, I've said it 1,000 times. Just be fucking careful. More careful than you think you need to be. Snap cut. All right, we're gonna wrap it up there, but try to heed our advice, okay? I know it sounds funny, especially if you're on the outside looking into this thing. You probably don't take it so seriously. I was the same way. Again, I was watching trolling videos when I got into this game. But one, oh, I have this too. This game ain't cheap. I know it's free. It's the most expensive free game you'll ever fucking play, okay? You
It
thought mobile
is.
games are bad? I have like $30,000-$40,000 in computer parts over this fucking shitty game. Fuck. But yeah, just like the computer parts, right? Sky's the limit. The emotional damage, the sky's the limit. Just heed our advice. You know, you don't have to take my word for it. Go do some reading. Come into this game, experience it, right? Spend a week in here with your lover, right? Feel it out. Spend a couple more, right? But the minute there's a question, a shadow of a doubt, act. Make a change before it becomes an addiction. Because once one of you is addicted, it's too late. Good luck.
I would 100% agree.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.